Hey, you fabulous bunch of people, welcome to Mood, the podcast that's here to sprinkle a little humour, drop some wisdom bombs, and occasionally let out a well-placed swear word or two. Mood, we're relatable as fuck.
Hello everyone, this is episode 12. Can't tell you how long it's taken us to get from episode 10 to 12, but we got here. It's been a bit of a while, but we thought we would have a special guest on today. And we always touch on things we've done about body confidence, we've done about like motivation, we've done about like self-love and all that. And actually what one thing is really helpful around like fitness and that as well is obviously the biggest thing, which I think we all struggle with, is nutrition. I think the most needs to be talked about, right? Because there's so many different ways of looking at it and you get told so many different things. So today we have on our show Bekka. Bekka also has her own podcast with your friend Abby. Do you want to talk about your podcast for starters? And I think that'll be a really good introduction, and how you met Abby and how you got to do what you're doing now. It'll be really cool to understand that better.
Of course. I am an online coach anyway, so I'm an online nutrition coach, and Abby was one of my clients who ended up becoming one of my best friends. And as you just said, like, nutrition is so undersold, everyone ignores it, but it is so vital to everything that we do. And me and her have both been through really bad food journeys, so we both suffered with binge eating disorder and obsessing over exercise and all of that kind of thing. And we just had a discussion one day and decided we wanted to help people, realise not everyone can afford coaching. So we decided to do a podcast just to try and get some free information out there, so that if anyone is struggling but couldn't afford a coach, could at least listen along, realise that they're not alone, other people go through it, and get some tips on how to overcome issues that they may or may not be having.
I love that. And you're a bit like, you two are similar to Lynette and I, right? You've not really known each other for that long. Like Lynette and I we've been working together for like a year and a half, and we've been doing the podcast since January. So we were the same kind of thing. We were like, should we do a podcast?
Yeah.
Like, should we just talk about that stuff? So yeah, no, it's good. And it's great that you come together, especially like you bonded over like struggles, right? And it's nice to find people that are like-minded, that have had to go through those things. And I think it's great. And the podcast, like Lynette and I've had a little listen to it as well, and it's just so nice to hear that, especially from people who have had a background of struggling with food and like with around eating and things like that, because we know you get a lot of people online that will just talk about it, but they haven't really struggled with it maybe for as long or ever in that case, and then kind of dictating what everybody else should be eating and such. So like, give us the name of the podcast, give us the name of like Instagram handles and stuff, like introduce yourself. We'd love people to follow you from our side of things as well. Just share the love.
But everything is Food Freedom with Bekka, but Bekka is spelled with K's because my mum wanted to be awkward when I was a child. Yeah, it's that on Instagram, and it's that for the podcast as well.
Excellent. So guys, if you're having a listen and you want to know more, please follow Bekka and Abby. You will not be disappointed. So usually, Lynette, I'm going to throw you in the deep end because I haven't had a chance to put one together, but I was wondering, usually we tend to start off with the would you rather, and usually Lynette is the girl who has all the would you rathers.
I don't have a would you rather, but we do like we used to do icebreakers and stuff. I guess because we're on the topic of kind of nutrition and food, there's just a little bit of fun. But for your death row meal, what would it be?
Are we going like 3 courses, or are we going one?
What do you like?
Let's go 3 courses. Yeah, because we just did 1, so let's go 3. Why not?
Yeah, I never thought of 3. That's a good shout. Go for it.
I want a tasting menu. Yeah. Why should you be limited to 1 course?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Starters, I'd probably have like garlic mushrooms.
Nice.
I'm a sucker for them.
Breaded or like creamy?
Creamy.
Yes. Yeah.
My main. That's tricky. I'm a sucker for pasta, so it'd probably be like some sort of pasta bake or something. And then dessert would definitely have to be a chocolate brownie.
Love that.
I like it. Well, nice. Mainly elements of cream and then just throwing a bit of chocolate at the ending. That's beautiful.
Classic. Yeah.
It didn't even occur to me about starters and dessert. I'm actually really annoyed. Like, I've always just thought of the main.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
And that was it. Like, I forgot I could have on that.
I think mine was pasta based as well. It has to be.
Oh yeah. Anything cheesy and creamy is definitely the one. So I've got a question. You spoke a lot, like when I was listening, just your introduction actually this morning, as I was on the treadmill, I was having a little listen again, and you spoke around about like we were saying earlier, there's just so much information out there, right? And it can get really confusing, and even things like how many calories should I be having, like what's good foods, what's bad foods. And I think over the years, and I think apologies Bekka, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking for starters?
28.
No, 28, cool, okay.
Oh.
Right, we're a little bit older than you. We've definitely found, like, in our age group, for example, I think we grew up with the likes of Slurry World, Weight Watchers, and things like that, and like
Sins.
no carb, you know, sins, all that shit. And it comes to a point where just food becomes super confusing. And my question, I guess, is like, what would you say are like the essential components of like a balanced diet? Like, so someone who's new and like to wanting to start looking after themselves better, like starting to eat better, like what would you say is like the basics that they need to consider firsthand?
So the first thing I always say to like anyone that I work with is start by just keeping everything the same. So eating all the food you would normally eat, but just trying to be more mindful of it. So say in a normal day, you would have chocolate and you'd have your dinners and your pastas and whatever, logging it all into an app, which that's also tricky because some people, if it logs it, it can affect you mentally. But if you're able to log things without it being a problem, logging it all, seeing where you're at, and then the simplest thing is working out what you've had that day, maybe the next day, and then just trying to lower it a little bit, because we all know calorie deficit is the way to lose weight. And that way you're not suddenly cutting out everything you love and then being like, oh crap, I really want this chocolate bar, because you're still having it. You're just learning how many calories it is and how to bring that number down by making small little changes.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, because I think like it's that thing of, I think most people go straight into what I said, right, as of Monday, gonna cut everything out, and you know, that's it, I'm not gonna eat, you know, and then before you know it, you've had a whole bar of chocolate and then some, because you've restricted yourself a bit too much. It's a hard place to be.
Like humans in general, we want everything now, so no one's willing to make little changes. They all just do the big thing because they think, yeah, that'll make it happen quicker, but it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've spoken about that before, haven't we? So that's what you said. If you kind of decide on a Sunday, right, that's it, from Monday I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to do this and I'm going to walk 10,000 steps and I'm going to cut out all the chocolate and I'm only going to drink water. It's like, it's not achievable because you're doing so much in one. Then when you don't kind of do all of that, you don't manage to do all of that in 24 hours, then you just kind of feel like you failed, and then it's just like, oh well, fuck it, like why should I, I'm just gonna just not bother. Like what you said, Bekka, like it's small steps, and that's like a kind of recurring theme when we've spoken about kind of motivation and fitness and other things around kind of motivation as well, as kind of taking those small steps rather than trying to do it all at once.
Something someone said ages ago is like, with food especially, if you were a smoker or you had a problem with alcohol, you wouldn't just go cold turkey, because you know that wouldn't work. And food is literally in your life. Like, if you have a problem with food, you still need to eat. If you have a problem with alcohol, you could go away with not drinking the rest of your life. Whereas if you've got to eat every day, you've got to face that food. So if you're suddenly just cutting it out, that isn't going to work.
It's a really good way of looking at it. I've definitely had that conversation with a friend. It's like you said, if you smoke, you stop smoking, right? And then you try and give it up, and you know you probably won't go back to it 9 times out of 10. But and same with like drinking, I suppose. But with food, it's like you still need to eat. You don't just stop eating. You still need to eat, and it's getting that balance right, isn't it? It's just so difficult with things like that. And then, I mean, the other thing I suppose is that portion control side of things. It's like, I mean, do we follow things like food servings? Like, because a lot of people don't, and it's only when they look after, they're like, oh, I didn't realize I was only meant to eat 30 grams of cereal, not like 100 grams, for example, and things like that. Like, what's your advice around things like that? Like, do you say follow the serving suggestion, or go with like, because you know, so you don't want to restrict yourself? Like, what's the best balance, I suppose?
I hate portion sizes on things. I personally like cereal. It always says like 35 grams. I eat 80 grams.
Yeah.
35 grams is just like so sad to look at. Like, the thing with food and just health in general is everyone is so unique. Like, the reason, like, if everyone was the same by now, with everyone looking into it, there would be a diet, a one thing fits all. Everyone would be fit, everyone would be healthy, because we'd know what to do. But everyone's body is so complex, like the amount of different microbiology you've got going on in your stomach, depending on what food you were given as a kid, and like what you eat now and how you metabolize things. We're so unique that even if like the three of us ate the same foods for the next week, we wouldn't suddenly look the same. And saying to someone like, oh, you should have 50 grams of Cocoa Pops, that might be fine for you, but for someone else, that's not going to do anything.
It's really true. I've seen things online where, actually funny, I was just before we came online, I was watching a girl where she was saying about, you know, someone, for example, who struggles with like obesity, and is a case of you're being told don't eat processed foods and don't eat this and this, and it's like that person is so used to that kind of food, you can't just cut them off it completely. Like they have to be cut down from it if they wanted to lose body fat. Like it's not as easy as just stop eating it, you know, like their body has been so used to it. It's like coming off drugs almost, essentially. It's like the same kind of thing, right? Like you're so used to that food, you're so used to that way of eating, you can't just go from one extreme to another.
But even like not processed food, so there was a scientific thing that was done, and he basically took a group of people and had them eating pasta and rice and ice cream and things, and then they measured blood sugar levels, because obviously like the misconception is you eat ice cream, your blood sugar's going to go up, it's bad for you. You eat rice, it's good for you. And out of that room, like depending on the person, some were fit people, some were like larger people, some people could eat ice cream and their blood sugar went up, some people could eat it and it went down. Like it's all about how your body can break that down. The same, some people can eat bread and they get bloated and some people can't. Like it can eat bread happily and it doesn't affect them. Like everyone gets very specific on don't eat processed foods or don't eat this food, but everyone does it differently.
I guess my question would be then, sort of in your line of work then, and what you do, how do you kind of manage that with very different clients? Because like you said, everyone's slightly different, and without going into, I don't know, maybe you do go into the kind of the scientific end of it, or you know, but how does that work? How do you manage that with like different clients?
So the first thing we do is obviously talk about their problems. So it's a very broad topic because there's a lot of different things that people come to me for help with. In general, it is just a case of I tell them that the first month is just going to be like focusing on what they eat at the minute, making those little changes. Like I've had people come to me before that say they can't eat X, Y, and Z because it makes them bloated. But then when we've sat them down, I like slowly put a little bit into their diet each week and we see what it does. Because my big thing is that if you're bloated, the first thing we do is blame the food, when really that bloat is a message from our body. So it's telling us something. And a lot of the time it's not to do with the food. Sometimes you're bloated because you've not drunk enough water, or maybe you can't process that food, or maybe you've just not slept well enough, or you're craving crisps and sweet things because you're not getting enough fat in your diet. Like everything your body tells you, is it trying to actually tell you something? And we just go, oh no, I can't have that, it must be that food. And it's not.
I think it's hard because it's like a lot of us do this whole thing where we look online for the answers, so we've not actually gone to anyone to talk about it. Or sometimes like you've said as well, like it's expensive to go and get, you know, to speak to people and sign up to programs and things like that. It's, you know, it's not something that's accessible for everybody all the time, and you do end up just doing your own research and trying to just, oh, it must be this, it must be too much bread, I'll cut down on my gluten, you know, and all that stuff. And it's like, well, actually it's probably not those things. Like you said, it could be you're missing something else in your diet. It's hard to find that advice, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it definitely is. So that's why I ended up doing a nutrition course. Like, so I had problems myself and I was bloated all the time and in loads of pain, and I kept having to go to hospital and they couldn't work it out. But I got so sick of getting fobbed off with doctors that I just thought, right, I'll learn. I noticed that when I ate fatty foods, it was bothering me, so I did this course for myself. And then from that I was just like, people need to know this stuff. Like you shouldn't pay to do a course to learn.
With the thing like nutrition side of things, then, like, is BMI still considered something to look at? Is that still a thing? Because I've heard mixed on this. I spoke to a nutritionist like years ago and she was like, we don't really focus on BMI anymore because it's very outdated and it's actually not right. What's your thoughts on it?
It's crap.
Yeah, 100%.
Brilliant, thank you, that's what I needed to hear.
Very, 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 very vague way of knowing where you're at. But BMI was made for men. It was made many years ago. It doesn't take into account hormones and all of those different things. It's especially not targeted at women. Like, it is just crap.
Yeah, it's mad because it's like that's how they determined that you are on the obesity line. And so when you're kind of at the doctors or the hospital and they say, actually, yeah, you are what they call it, medically obese or clinically obese or whatever, it's just like, what the fuck? And it's, you know, it is all a number, and it is bullshit. Now, my other half, he went to the GP and they said, oh yeah, your BMI is X. Oh, but really it's only based on like men who are up to 6 foot tall. He's 6'5", and he's like, well, it's absolute bullshit then. Like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah, so Abby, who I did the podcast with, she won't mind me saying this, I don't think, but she's trying to get in the police. And she's been told that her BMI is like, she's got to drop X amount of weight to be able to join the police.
That's
Test. She goes to the gym and lifts like heavy weights. Like, she is strong. and she can't join until she's lost the next amount of weight. And that's just, like, it shouldn't be like that anymore.
No.
That's shocking.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that's still a thing.
It doesn't matter what you weigh once you're in the police. They don't get anymore.
That's true, yeah. That's well, you're in, eat what you want now, you're good.
Yeah. It's like a tick box exercise, isn't it?
I find it crazy because it's like, I mean, supposedly for my height, I'm like 5'4", 5'5". I'm meant to be 8.5 stone apparently, right? And I'm like, there's just no way. There's just no way.
No, and if you was, you wouldn't look healthy. But that
exactly. I would be miserable. I'd be starving, hungry, and before I know it, because it's not attainable, and because I'm not like, I hate, naturally big bone. I'm a big girl in general, anyways, right? Like I probably would put it back on again, and I probably would be really ill. So it's like, okay. I feel like also it causes a lot of damage to tell somebody they should be a certain weight or a certain size for something as well. And I think that's sometimes a lot of the stuff. I know like certain like eating disorders obviously usually stem from like, I guess your background, like your like the way you've been brought up with food, what you've been made to think about food and things like that. And I definitely know growing up, it was like if my family thought I was eating too much, they'd point it out, like kind of the food shame sort of thing in front of everybody and things like that. And that didn't work well because then out of spite, I was like, well, sod you, I'm going to eat even more of that just to make a point. And then I've over the years I've spoken about it a lot on here, like I've struggled with like comfort eating, for example. But then actually I read something, I guess get your thoughts again on this. Sorry, Becca, just loads of questions of what's your thoughts on this. There's a thing about comfort eating and then there's emotional eating, right? What's the difference? Because I feel like this might actually have a bit more to what I think it is and what it really is for me.
As in emotional eating or as in binge eating?
I'd say maybe binge eating. Let's use that one.
So the difference is with just comfort eating, you know what you're doing, you're eating it, and you feel bad for it afterwards. And there is an element of you can't stop, but you kind of could if you wanted to. Whereas binge eating is very much your brain has like two parts, and you've got a logical side and you've got an emotional side. The emotional side completely takes over. There's no logic. A lot of people with binge eating, the stuff they binge on isn't even like cakes and crisps. Like it can be stupid things. Like one of my clients binged on icing sugar because that was just what was in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Like when you binge, it's an out of body, like you just lose control. You don't really think about it. The wrappers all get hidden somewhere and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like what have I done type thing. Whereas stress eating or comfort eating is more of a, you get the crisps, you eat them, you think, oh crap, I've eaten this whole bag of crisps. Oh, I've ruined it. I'll go to the cupboard and I'll get some chocolate and I'll get this and I'll do that.
I mean, is it bad I relate to both of them? And like, I was like, yep, I do.
You can do both. Like people struggled with both. Like it's not a one or the other type thing.
I remember I used to hide food. I definitely remember like trying to like creep downstairs and try and bring food up. And then especially when I lived with like when we moved and it was my mum, my stepdad and my brother, I remember leaving like wrappers in, like I wouldn't want them to see the food I'd brought home. Like, I used to work at Sainsbury's and I would bring home like 5 cookies for like £1 or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Like back in the day, like the fresh ones. Yeah. They would be eaten by the time I got home. And then I would feel absolutely like awful about it. And then I would like just go and hide them. And then sometimes like if I was home alone, I was the opposite. I would literally like, it would be whatever was available to eat. I didn't actually even want anything, to be honest with you. It was a case of, it was something to do. It was like almost out of boredom or like stress. And for the longest time, I feel like only maybe in the last year or two, I've definitely controlled that a lot better. But I think that's also with having having therapy. And actually I am on a program, obviously Bekka and I are on this program together with Anna Marie Fitness. And I think just I feel like I'm someone who needs a guidance. Like I need like this is your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and make it what you will, but you stick with this and you have a calorie deficit. I feel like that's the only way it's helped me because, and I feel like now I've got more control that I can say, well, actually, I'm not going to eat this and this and this, but I almost needed that like shock to the system to do it that way, than actually just say do what you want, because I feel like it's so easy to fall off the scale without even realizing, and then you're like, oh shit, and say like you said, it'll be, oh well, I've eaten this now, fuck it, I might as well go all out and finish everything else I've got sitting there because I'll start again tomorrow. It's a vicious circle. It's very hard to get out of when you're stuck in it, and you don't know what the norm is, I guess, of how people don't eat like that.
But even when you do get out of it, like I would say that I am over my binge eating now. I had a baby last year. I then was on maternity leave, and like you said, it depends who's around you. Like if my partner at the time was home, I'd be fine. As soon as I was home alone, he'd gone to work, I was at home all day with the baby. I was really tired. Like it got so bad again because there isn't that accountability.
I was watching.
He left, you feel a bit hungry, you're a bit bored, or my routine's changed, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just like, I need to eat something, and then I'll eat it, and then he'd come home and I'd feel awful and I'd hidden all these things in the bin. Or just once you get over it, that doesn't mean you're not going to have like relapses or come back into it. It's not it's gone and it's gone type thing. It's very hard to overcome. Like you said, the way I got over it and the way you have is by having a coach or having someone teach you about these things and hold you accountable and show you it's okay to eat. Like my worst thing I'd binge on was chocolate, and now I have chocolate every single day. I know it's fine.
Lynette, what about you? Like, what's your relationship with food like?
So, similar to kind of you, Lex. Like, you know, I grew up in a household where they put food on your plate and be like, don't eat too much rice or whatever and things like that. But also, growing up, it was always a case of like, don't waste food. Make sure you eat it all. You know, there are people starving. It was always like a guilt thing. And so my thing is like, if it's there, I'll eat it. It's really bad. It's like, I remember one thing that really stands out to me is like, I remember eating like, do you know those big like Thai sweet chili sensations? Not even like the small packets of crisps, like the huge share bags. I remember it being on the side of on my bedside table one day, and I must have just been like having a snack or whatever before going to bed. And I remember just waking up at like 3:00 in the morning and just going, might as well finish those. It's like 3 a.m. So I don't need it. Wasn't hungry. It was just there. Stuff where you know, do big supermarket shop or whatever, and you're like, okay, that'll be for that day, and I'll try in my head to try and plan it out, but like it's really bad because I'm just like, I might as well just have that now. Or, you know, you're really looking forward to it and I don't wait for the next day. I'm like, I might as well just cook that skill. I might as well just have that fish, or I might as well just have that. And like before I know it, I've had like 6 mini meals like before lunchtime, and it's like, oh yeah, do you know what I mean? So that's my thing, is like, if it's there, I'll have it. How my folks were like, you can't, you know, don't waste it or whatever.
It's definitely have like a huge impact on us. Like my mum was very much similar. You couldn't leave the table, the plate was finished. She was doing Slimming World and Weight Watchers and constantly looking at her food and logging stuff, and then that obviously rubbed off on me that my mum doesn't think she's good enough, so I don't think I'm good enough. And like, so many little things have an impact on you.
I like saying I grew up with, like, I mean, Greek family, food is associated with every situation, celebration. Like, you've always got people around, there's always food about. And I just always, like, I lived with my mum and my aunties like when we were growing up, so there was like 7 of us in a 3-bedroom house, and it literally was like they were always on diets. Like there was always a new, like I remember having their little Slimming World books or their Weight Watchers books, and they'd always struggle with, like, even when they were younger, like they'd always struggled with their weight, and they'd like done it like where they were like, one of my aunties was really like skinny when she was younger, and then the weight just like piled on as she got older, and that because just life and the way, you know, not moving maybe as much, not eating as healthily, and things like that. And I think just stress and stuff obviously as well, whereas like my mum was always like big when she was younger, and then she lost loads of weight, but she always tells me it's always like she's proud of it, but I'm like, you know, that's not okay. She's like, I used to live on an apple and a yogurt for lunch, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not you're not meant to do that. Like, that's not a good thing, mum. And she's like, oh, I lost all this weight. And I'm like, yeah, and then what happened? And she's like, well, I had you too, and then I put it all back on again. It's like, so it's so I was always surrounded by people that struggle with their weight in general. Like our family have all had problems with food, and that and the relationship with it's not been, it's with every occasion, every emotion. You're happy, we eat. You're sad, we eat. You know, like when my granddad passed, we literally got pizza that evening. We just stuffed our faces. It was just purely out of emotions, just binge eating. It was insane. And it's so hard to pull out that funk. And then also my dad was a bit of my dad, massive picker. Like all my family, all like my mum, my brother and I, and my dad, I think are the same. Not big meal eaters, which was really difficult for me. Now I've had to like change that around because I don't enjoy a big meal. I enjoy the picking in between the meals, and that's the problem. Whereas like now I have to have a big meal to basically fill myself up. So then when I do have like a snack and stuff, I don't feel the need to really have it. But my dad would do things where he'd be like, do you want some more toast? And I'd be like, yeah, okay. And he'd be like, you know, you shouldn't really actually have any more toast. And I was like, okay, well, I won't have it then. He's like, no, don't have it. I'm just saying you shouldn't have it. Like I would get that kind of like, you'd get mind fucks from family, but Greeks would be like, oh, you put on weight, do you want something to eat? Like in the same so the mental stuff of it is just like, it's so frustrating.
I know. I get exactly that. Like now as well, it's just like, I'll go around to my mum's house and she'd have cooked something, even though she'll be like, do you want lunch? I'll be like, no, it's fine. But she would have cooked something anyway, because that's what they do. They'll have food ready there for you if you want it or you change your mind. And then she'll plate it up and she'll be like, oh, you know, you shouldn't eat too much of that, or you shouldn't have too much rice, and you shouldn't do this. And yeah, it's just like, it it is a mental, like, it's a mind fuck, because they obviously do want you to be healthy. It's like they're conflicted as well. It's like they obviously want you to be healthy, but it's like, oh, but it's in my blood to feed you, and and that's what it is. You need to eat, and that's it. And it's mad because like it's the culture thing as well. It's like when the kids have like birthday parties and stuff, and you know, me and Dave, like, we'll just put on a small spread, but honestly my mum and my dad will just come and like lay out food, and people will come and be like, I thought this was just like a kid's birthday. I'm like, it is, but it's just like they just feel the need to just feed everyone that like crosses their paths, and like, come on, just eat. And even when like Dave went to the Philippines, it was exactly the same. Like for him, they were like you need to eat, you know. And it's kind of like a, what can I say? I get, you know, you don't want to be rude as well. It's like, oh, I'll be polite. All right, have a meal or whatever, and I'll sit with you. But yeah,
food is love, isn't it? Like I know it is. Like that. Like I've definitely been like that. If I love, like, my way of showing love is let me feed you. I love. It sounds really messed up. I love watching people eat. Like I like people. Like if I've made something or whatever, I've bought something, someone, I enjoy watching them. I get the comfort out of watching them. Like, you know, and it's like that's me. It's hard, and a lot of people I think are very similar. Of let me make something for you, let me give you something to eat. You know, come in, let me offer you like about 10 different things to choose from. You know, like it's ridiculous.
I think we were out the other day. We were at a fair or something, I can't remember, and they had like an Indian stall there, and for about an hour I kept saying, Dave, oh, do you want a samosa? Be like, no, I'm alright. And then we'd go off to do something. I said, oh, I might just head to the store. You sure you don't want a samosa? Be like, no, alright. Anyway, asking this 6 times, like, right, I'm gonna head off now. Do you want a samosa? Be like, yeah, alright, just get me a fucking samosa. It's like, that's fine. It's just like, I don't
even fucking want it.
I don't even fucking want it. I don't know what it is. I feel, oh, it's really mad. It's like I feel like I can't eat on my own as well.
Okay,
I feel guilty. I feel guilty. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, I don't want you to watch me eat. I want you to eat too. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
there's the whole, and I think it's the same with your parents. Like, there's that whole thing of they've been brought up of women have to eat less than men. You have to salads and things while they can eat what they want. And then you get brought up and you have a complex of, well, someone else is eating, so I shouldn't be eating. Like, I went out for my first Mother's Day meal with my mum and my nan, and for dessert I ordered this massive waffle stack thing, and like they got one to share between them, and they were like, are you going to eat that whole thing on your own? I was like, yes, I bloody am. I work hard. I don't need. I eat well in the week. If I want to eat this, I can, and my body can metabolize this because I've taught it to. Like, I don't need to sit and have nothing just because I'm a woman.
I've definitely had this where you're like, oh, my friends are having a salad. I should probably have a salad as well because they're going to judge me because I'm big. You know, the assumption is probably I would eat something big, and then I like a salad, but I want something. If I've come out for a meal and I'm paying for a meal, I'm having a meal. Like, there's no. Start as main, dessert, as you said earlier, with this being had, like, is it, you know, I feel like I choose it more wisely now rather than having shit all day and then decide to go for a big ass meal. Like, obviously it's a bit more in proportion, but like, I'm not gonna be made to feel guilty for wanting the food that I want. Like, I think there's a healthy way of being able to have the best of both worlds in some respects, right?
It also comes back to what you said about portion sizes, though. Like, everyone can eat a different amount of calories. Like, it doesn't matter what you're set. You can teach yourself to have more calories and still maintain your weight. Like, you can work on your own metabolism if you learn to like do it slowly and listen to your body, and like the whole reverse dieting thing. Like, there was a point years ago when I was on more calories than my boyfriend, who was a lot bigger than me. People used to be like, why are you eating more than him? And it was like, because I've trained my body to do that. Like, if I can, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna restrict myself just to look like a woman.
I think in general, like, it's hard because I know, like, with family and stuff, you do worry about them and you worry about their health and stuff and like whatever, but I think it's just so not okay to comment on what somebody is eating or how much they're eating. Like, that's their body, that's their life, like, let them get on with it. Like, you know, it's just that I kind of can't understand. But the thing, I feel like the one thing that is hard, and Becca, and then obviously you both got children, I don't know what your thoughts are on it, is how do you deal in a situation where like you have a child who's maybe like overeating, or they can't stop grabbing the snacks and stuff that are on the table and things like that? Like, what's the right and wrong way? Because obviously, like, I was that child growing up, and I know that being told not to do it doesn't work. So what's the right and wrong way of doing something like that?
So I would say not focusing on the food and focusing on other things. So if they are a kid that likes that kind of thing, focus on getting them more active, getting them moving more. Like maybe when they are snacking, try and put some more nutritious snacks out as well. They're not necessarily always going to want it. Trying to compromise a bit more rather than just saying, no, because like you said, kids are rebellious. You say don't have that, they're going to have that because that's what they want. But it's like anything, focus on the other things that they can be doing that will take away from that. And if it's a case of they're doing it because of they're bored, stop them being bored, find something for them to do.
Exactly that. And I think I agree, it's because I've read a lot as well, and I've got a son and a daughter, and with the first one as well, you worry so much around like when we started weaning and solids and things like that, and the relationship with foods. And what they say is basically, from 6 months to until they're about 2, like food, it's more like a game. It's more supposed to be like a sensory thing more than like a nutrition thing for kids. It's more about kind of growing their relationship with food and things like that. So not to kind of stress if they're not like eating a whole meal that you put out for them or things like that. So if they what I read a lot about is actually when they know they're full. They will know they're full, and when they're hungry, they will know they're hungry. They know what they need to do. It's just an instinct, and so. Yeah, I kind of used to stress a lot about it until I read more about that, because I don't want them to kind of develop bad relationships with food or whatever. And with kind of the snacking thing as well, it is like they might have a chocolate or something, but also I'll be like, okay, so you've had that, now have a fruit, or let's go and get out and get some fresh air, or do something else to kind of distract them from that, rather than going, no, you can't have it. It's kind of like letting them know that it's okay to eat. You can eat what you want to eat, but just kind of educating them as well. Is it because they're bored? Is it because they haven't got anything to do? Like for me, when I'm on calls, I have my son like 2.5 days a week. And so if I'm on a morning call, he knows he will come running in and he will go, biscuit. Because he knows that's what I used to do the first thing I used to do when just to kind of make sure he wasn't disturbing me in a call was go, okay, have this custard cream and go and sit down, and he'd have it and it'd keep him going. So now if I'm on a call, he'll go biscuit and he'll scream until he has it. Yeah, it's a difficult one, and it's a scary one, like thinking growing up, and just hope that you just kind of hope that you're doing the right thing and you're building up their relationship, a good relationship with them and food, even if mine's shit, then hopefully I do something right for them, don't pass it down. So
I do think that's a hard thing. Like I've definitely noticed going through pregnancy and then having a child, as humans we know what we're doing, but we ruin it for ourselves. Like when I was pregnant, I had cravings. I learned that I was craving this thing, that meant I was lacking this thing, so I'd eat it because it was for my child, not because it was for me. And that very much, like, it was the easiest 9 months of my life, not actually because the pregnancy was really difficult, but food wise, because everything I was doing was for her. And when you're doing it for someone else, you cook the best food, you do the best things for you. And then the baby comes, and like you said, they know when they're hungry, they know when they're full, they know when to stop, because we're built with that instinct. But then it gets ruined because we're spoiled as humans and we have all these choices. And you go somewhere and, like you say, there are biscuits and there's this and there's that, and you go somewhere and they say have one of these, and then it becomes a habit thing rather than actually need. And that's not a bad thing, like that's just how we've developed. But it's just crazy to think that we're born knowing everything we need to know with food. Like our bodies can tell us what we want, and we've just developed into people that really struggle with it now.
It's great when you put it like that. It never really occurred to me. It's like it's almost like it's like a treat system, right? It's like, oh, I had a really bad day at work today. Okay, you deserve a treat. Like, well done, you got through that day. It's like, oh, good, like, well done me. Well done, I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah, well done me. Takeaway. Like, it's I do it even with. It's so bad. I've got into like a habit of it, but I think ever since it started, when I first came on my period, I remember someone's like because I came on my period first ever one when I was at a school trip, and I remember thinking, oh, I need something sweet, and like the teacher was like, well, yeah, when you have your period, you always end up wanting to have something sweet. So, and I swear to God, even now, like 30 something years later, and I don't even need the fucking sweet treat, but as soon as I know, I'm like, well, it's because I'm due on, I probably should have something sweet because I'm coming on my period. Like it's like out of habit now. Like I probably don't need
it. What does it do? Does it just make you feel? Did you feel better? Like, or you just associated to that? You just associated to like.
I think I associated to that. I'm like, cool, it's period time. That means I can go a bit more out than usual. Like I'll splash, push the boat out a bit more than
I
do, and like have a bit more chocolate than I want.
Hormones are slacking me off, so I'm just gonna fuck everything.
Like, we do genuinely crave sweet things on our periods because of our hormones.
Sure.
The hormones are made of fats, so that's why a lot of the time we then want chocolate, for example, because we're making so much estrogen, which is all fat, and therefore your body needs more fats to make it, and we want the chocolate. Sometimes it is a case of it's telling us it for a reason, but then the side of it is now a habit for women. You know, if your girlfriend's coming on their period, you go out and buy them some chocolate.
I'm just gonna throw. I was gonna say I do all that buying myself. Like, the husband doesn't really get involved in it. Sometimes I'll be like, "Can you go and get me something?" But usually it's me. Like, I'll be like, "Well, I need this, and therefore I'm gonna get X, Y." So it's just like, gotta do what I gotta do. But you're right. Like, it is. You do crave it. But I know in my head, I'm like, it's that time of the month. It's time for something sweet. Like, great. It's terrible.
Go through, and we deserve to have.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff we go through with it, like, Jesus. But like, it's so, like, I think, like you said, like we were saying, everything is behavioural. It's how we've been brought up. It's what we've been made to believe about food. Like, what we've been told is good food, bad food. Like, I've done every diet at some point. Like, I did keto, I did Dukan, no carbs, like loads of meat. Been told like it's a sin to mash up a bloody banana, but it's fine if you eat it. Like, like I can have a whole fry up, no questions asked, and eat as much of it as I want. But I mash that banana up, and that's my sins. I like that. I just
really?
It's just
what was that from?
They're still going. Like, I don't understand how so many people can still fall for that. What is the difference between a banana and a mash?
I don't know. It's so hard. I get almost, and I don't judge, right? Like, whatever gets the goal that you need to get to. If it makes you feel better, then fine. But I do die a little inside when someone says to me, "Oh, I lost weight through Slimming World," or "I'm on the Cambridge diet at the moment," or "I've just started keto," and I'm just like, because we've all been there, and it's like, because I know that it's a temporary solution for something that is really a long-term needs to be fixed.
It'll come back.
And I've done it. Like, I did Dukan for like years ago, about 6 months, and I lost like 5 stone in a space of that time, which is not obviously a normal amount of weight to lose. Miserable. Like, I wasn't happy. I wasn't eating properly. I felt like shit, like tired all the time, and like taking out on everybody else. And with things like Slimming World and stuff, it's just so frustrating. They're making so much money out of people that have like problems with food and that, and I just and people go back to it because they think, well, it worked. No, it works because you're on it. As soon as you come off it, you're back to square one again.
Not sustainable, is it?
It's not.
Unless you're willing to make a lifelong change or commit to it for the rest of your life, then no, it's not.
And they're the reason that there are so many eating disorders out there, because people just get screwed over by them.
Yeah. They know that most people probably can't or like won't or cannot afford maybe to. I think actually, to be honest, I think it's a case of where do you start? Like, because I definitely didn't understand half of this stuff. I was just following whatever next fad diet was available. I was being told I should be a certain way. You get told like women shouldn't do strength. It should just be cardio, like all that stuff. And it comes to a point where you're like, what's right? What is right? So you just go with whatever you kind of, it's the following, right? You're sheep in these situations. Everyone's on Slim World. I'll give Slim World a go. And I think it becomes so difficult that then you're like, I don't even know where to begin. And unfortunately, which is something else I think I've learned, is that it's not a quick fix. This is years of unlearning bad behaviors of food and then your exercise and all that stuff. And it's not going to be a quick thing. It's going to be years, and you need to stay and maintain it. It's a lifestyle change completely. And like, I used to get like, oh God, when people say it to me because I didn't want to hear it, but it's fact. It is that. You literally have to change it. You have to change your life. You have to make changes. It doesn't have to be drastic, but small changes make big differences for definite. I get like, so like, oh, it annoys me. And even like, I might have said this before in a previous podcast, I can't remember, but I went doctors ages ago and the nurse was like, oh, by the way, you qualify for like Weight Watchers. We have like a 12-week program with Weight Watchers. Oh, God. And I was just like, no, I'm good, thanks. Like, I've been going to the gym and I'm losing weight going to the gym. And I thought, God, if that's the answer, you're just going to jump me in a club or something like that. And no education around food, fitness, nothing.
Mental health.
I've been even offered in the past, like when I was even bigger, like gastric bands, and I was just like, it's just not for me, that's really each to their own, and I've got no judgment on it. Do what you need to do, but for me, that was like last resort. I was like, right, that means you've given up on me as a doctor. You're just gonna give me a gastric band, and then that's it. Call it a day. It's not a nice situation to be in.
Now it's an injection, isn't it? You go there and they give you this weight loss injection because they don't. Like, I had someone come to me the other day, and she is a ballerina, and she's got really bad like problems with her food because she obviously wants to skinny like all the other ballerinas. And she went to the doctor about it, and they just told her she needs to eat more food and she should eat more carbs. Like, this girl throws up after eating her food because she wants to be skinny, and they're telling her to just eat more carbs. Like, that's not going to fix anything.
Unfortunately, with the doctors, I think there's the physical part of like food and exercise, I suppose, which is what they'll probably tell you in some roundabout way. I never get told what actually to do, by the way. When I've ever gone, it's like just they'll eat less chocolate, eat less crisps, and I'm like, I don't eat those things half the time. Like, that's only like, what do you think I'm living on, a diet of just chocolate and crisps? Like, it's salty. But there's no mental side. There's no the mental side of it, or what's your background with food? Like, what's been your relationship? Do you have is there an eating disorder? Is there something else we need to be taken into consideration? Do you have polycystic ovaries? Like, there's just so much more than let's just do this and do less of this, do more of this. Like, it's just not enough. It's crazy. They moan so much about people being obese and dealing with food and stuff, but there's no, unless like obviously someone like Bekka who is willing to help people, and like even Anna doing like fitness stuff, there's unless you know about those kinds of people that are available to you, you're not going to do any of those things. You're just going to keep probably joining Slim World, I suppose. Like, it's whatever's a quick solution to fix the problem.
I think the other thing is they don't want to join it because people think it's food, it's simple, like I should know what I'm doing, I shouldn't need to get it, so why would I? Even though it makes the world of difference. You think food is something that everyone should just come to eat, so why can't I? I shouldn't sign up with someone.
I think it's like a pride thing almost a little bit as well, right? As in, you're that person who's gone and joined up. Oh, you want to join the program? Oh, you're going to do like like there's almost like a bit of a judgment with it, and you can't win either. You can't win either way. But I almost feel like if you start saying, actually, I don't want to eat like that anymore, I've changed this and I've started doing this, there is a judgment of you're changing as a person, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's that thing of I definitely was scared of saying it, like of saying, oh, actually I'm going to start doing this or do this, but now I'm like, I've put it all over Instagram, I don't care, like I hope it helps other people and I'm not ashamed of it. But there's a thing of like, you've changed as a person because maybe you want to start eating better, you don't want to drink necessarily anymore, you've quit smoking, things like that. And I think it's really hard. You, like Bekka, with like everything you've gone through, for example, have you felt like you've had to change as a person maybe, or like your mindset's different? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
Everything has changed. Everything. I've got a new friendship group. I'm different in myself, like the activities I like doing, the foods I'm eating. Someone said to me, but like before I ever started signing up with anyone, when I was just realizing I was binging, I was following someone's Instagram account that she'd been through binge eating and she got help, and it was helping me realize that I was going through what she was going through. She said the whole nothing changes if nothing changes. Like, you are going to be the same if you don't want to make a change. Like, you have to change to stop what's happening. Like, there's no way of staying that same thing. And like the amount I have changed from like 7 years ago or whenever it was this started is insane, but it's a good thing. Like, they're not bad changes. Like, I'm so much happier in myself.
The friendship group one's interesting, I guess. Do you feel like, so are these people like you just completely, they're not part of your life in any way whatsoever now, and you can share as much as you want to or not, but like, what was the impact like these people were having at the time? Like, how did you make that connection with that friendship group and what was happening?
It's a case of like, you'd go around someone's and they wouldn't understand why you were doing what you were doing, or you'd go for a meal and they wouldn't know why you were bringing your own meal or whatever, and you'd explain it to them, they wouldn't get it. Or you'd say, let's go out for a walk rather than let's go sit around and have drinks or whatever. And they just weren't those type of people. So I started doing other things. And then when I started, like when I had my first ever online coach, I met Abby and I met other people like that obviously have the same goals. They want to do the same thing. I had a lot more in common with me. And it just, like, I still have some friends from school, but the majority of them I'm not friends with anymore because they just don't have the same interests as me anymore. And that's fine. I'm still rooting for them, but they're not, I don't want to be judged for doing the things I want to do. I want someone to my friend that's going to encourage me and make me better, not drag me down. So
I read somewhere you are the average of the 5 people or something that you surround yourself with as well. So
it's a weird, like, you're right, like I feel the same. It's like I still have like friends that I'm still really close with and love and like support, you know, what I'm doing, and the other friendships that I've made because I'm doing this, because I've had to do this essentially health wise as well. it's really interesting to see like how that you have to change your mindset. Like I had to change like even how I saw things as a person, or even how I judged things, for example, in my past and stuff, or how I dealt with situations. Everything I think is and because I know a lot of it is around like how would it affect me, like would it affect the way I deal with stuff, would it affect the way I eat, like, you know, exercise, etc. And to have like-minded people around you, like they get it, and it's so good to have people support each other. Like we're in, like, for example, like obviously we're in our little WhatsApp group at the moment with like Thrive and that, and it's just so nice. Even if someone's just like, oh, do you know what? I'm just not feeling it this week, I've had a really shit week and I've eaten loads of crap and I've done like whatever, like someone's just having a bad week, and like usually, you know, some people would just not probably send that to their mates. They probably don't want to be that open about stuff. To have girls kind of in the same boat, like, yeah, don't worry, you've got this, like you're fine, let's just start again, let's just get back on it and stuff. Like it's not like, I joke with Anna and say, oh, it's the little Thrive cult, but it's like, it's so supportive, and I love it. And you'll find as well in these situations, like it's not even like your nearest and dearest that actually are supporting you, it's those who like you least expect, or the people you've made friends with that are probably actually your biggest fans without even realizing. It's insane, but it's a nice place to be. But yeah, there is, I'm always aware of it. Like I'm aware of like, oh, she's got really confident, or she's a bit, we've said it with we did a podcast with Anna, and we said like it's amazing, like people kind of judge you for wanting to look after yourself, and it's like, but you would have judged me for not wanting to look after myself either. Like it's just it's
bound to be confident in yourself. Like you make yourself feel bad for feeling good in yourself, like that shouldn't be a thing.
No, and I think like most people don't understand is that it's taken a long time to get to that kind of confidence, and like might talk a good game, might come across as confidence, but inside like probably nowhere near, I haven't even been that. So then to actually feel that thing of actually I'm looking after myself and I love myself more because I'm looking after myself, like I've put that effort and time into me, and you know, and all that, that's come from a long time of not doing that. So of course you're going to feel fucking amazing for doing it, because you're proud of yourself for getting to that headspace, and you do want to help others see it that way. And I think that's, even that becomes difficult, because like you want to, Bekka, you probably do get this right, like you want to help people, maybe educate people, but you also don't want to be that friend that is telling people what they should be doing, like food, and you like, there's a fine line between advising and telling someone what they should do with their lives essentially. But if you've been in those experiences and you see those patterns, you kind of want to offer that help and be like, I can help you if you're interested, but I don't want to step on your toes also if you don't. So yeah,
no, like my brother said the other day, he was like, oh, I'm going to give this keto thing a go, and he looked at me waiting for me to react, and I was just like, you know my opinion, you know I don't like it, but if you want to try it, that's your thing. But inside my body's screaming like you're
no.
I was like, no, right, you can't help everyone, like you have to come to some realizations on your own. And as a coach, it's really hard doing that, because sometimes I have people sign up with me and I tell them all the things and they just don't do it, or they just don't listen, and I can't do anymore. Like I've given them need. If they can't take that information, they're not ready for it yet.
That's a nice way of putting it, is they're not ready for it yet. Like I was saying to some of the girls the other day, like I really believe in mindset before movement, almost, is in like you need to be in the right headspace, and you need to have like worked on yourself first before, which I know sounds very like, oh god, like very therapy stuff, but I'm a really big believer, if you're not in the right headspace, you're not going to do the work, you're not going to want to do the work, and you'll get the advice like you've been giving, and then someone go, yeah, right, thanks, and not do anything with it. And I've learned that even with family members who will say to me, oh, you know, I see you're doing XYZ, and then I'll talk to them about it, but they're just not there, they don't want to do it, they're like, they don't want to make all those changes yet, and I'm like, okay, cool, but that's what it's going to take to get to that, just so you know. Like unfortunately that's how it is, it's hard work, it's not easy. It's really difficult. Got to choose your words wisely and a time of when to do it as well. But it is mindset,
definitely mentality. Like a lot of my coaching is just, so I do video calls with mine so that I can see them and talk to them, because I realize that a lot of the time the way people talk about themselves or their week is very negative. And I call them up on it. Like I'll say, how's your week been? And they'll be like, oh, I've not done very well this week. I'm like, why? Have you hit this? Have you done this? Have you done that? And they're like, actually, yeah, I have, but they're just, one thing's gone wrong, and in their head that's it, that whole week was a bad week. You get to reanalyze it. And I know a lot of the time, like you guys obviously know, people focus on weight, and it does not matter what weight you are. If in your mind you don't see yourself as what you are, you're never going to be happy with your weight. So for myself, I spent about a year every night writing 3 positives down every night that have happened that day, or things about my body. I did like videos on Instagram of me when I'm sat down with my belly like with rolls, and like purposely pointing out the things that I never ever used to like about myself. And it wasn't until I started accepting those things that I felt good. Like, I was going to the gym and I was getting definition, but none of that mattered if I didn't like things.
I've done like photo shoots with some of the other girls, and to me, in my head, because I've always been a big girl, like, they've got the perfect body as far as I'm concerned. I'm like, they're smaller, they're curvy, they've got this and this, and I'm like, what's their, in my head I can't almost grasp like what's their problem, because I've been so made to believe that being a certain size means you're unhappy and stuff and whatever. And then when you talk to them, like, their insecurities, and you're like, wow, like, it's great. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, even if you are doing all these things and being healthier and stuff. If you're not feeling that up here, then none of this matters. Like, it's so frustrating that we've been made to think that we have to look and be a certain way to be accepted as a person, and it's just such bullshit. Like I don't understand it. Do you have any other questions you want to ask Bekka?
It's quite early today, but this is like a running joke, and from conversations that I've had with Lex before. So I eat really late. Like, it's just...
This is a brilliant question to ask, Bekka. Thank you.
And it goes back to like what I said about kind of like not wanting to eat on my own and stuff like that. That was one of the things. But also, you know, with kids, and the kids eat at another time, so we get them to bed, and then by the time kind of that's all done, and then we start getting dinner, and like I'll have like dinner at 10, 11 o'clock, maybe. Depends if you're doing the podcast, maybe later. It's so, I know it's bad. Tell me how bad it is. And
Why do you think it's bad?
It's so, because I probably, in my head, I'd give myself maybe an hour before I fall asleep on the couch after I had dinner. And to me, my food hasn't digested properly. I do feel shit when I wake up. I feel like that food is still sitting there because I haven't done it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's all wrong. Maybe it's a good thing that 11 o'clock. I don't know. I don't know. But in my head, that's what it is. I feel like it's been an ongoing joke for a long time. But I don't know. We need to break it. And
it's done with love. It's done with love, by the way, just so you know.
No, I know. Yeah.
Just want to put it out there. I don't get cancelled.
And it is nice when we do it. Like, if Dave cooks a barbecue, obviously he does it because the kids will ask for a barbecue, and we'll do that. And it is nice when we all sit together at like a normal time, like 7 o'clock, and we're all sitting down eating dinner. We're like, oh, but then we get to like 9 or 10. I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. Could do with a snack. You know, I don't. Yeah. Anyway, that's my thing. I don't know what my question is.
There's nothing. So there's not like, it's a bit like I said earlier. Everyone's body is different. So some people can eat right before bed and fall asleep. Other people can't because their digestion is a bit slower. Yeah. At the end of the day, as soon as you fall asleep, once your body relaxes, that's when your tummy literally uses all the enzymes to push everything to the end of your body and try and clear your tummy. Obviously, if it's had more time in the day to break stuff down, it's going to be a lot easier, and therefore you'll wake up feeling better. If you are waking up feeling crappy, then it probably isn't a good thing for your body. But at the same time, you've got to think what works for you. So as you said, that fits in your schedule, that works around your kids. There's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of getting into a healthier do you struggle with bloating?
Yeah.
So to fix those kind of things, giving yourself that time to digest your food is really important. But again, it's not, don't go cold turkey and suddenly just start having dinner at 5 with your kid. Because you will get to 9 and you'll be hungry. Because do it. But do it slowly, and there's not a right or wrong, but it will make you feel better if you're waking up bloated. It's because your tummy hasn't had the time to digest that it needs to have.
I like what you said, what you were saying earlier about your body will tell you. Your body will tell you what it is, and it's just listening to that, isn't it? It's tuning into it. It's like sometimes you just kind of let things go over your head and you're like, oh, that's normal or whatever, or that's just, that's just how I'm made. But it's like if you actually listen or tune in to yourself and your body and go, actually, it's telling me that this isn't right. Yeah.
Now that if you get a headache, probably because you've not drunk enough water, so go and have some water. It's exactly the same with food, that your body will tell you what you're needing. If, not to go down the toilet route, but if you're not going to the toilet very often, something. If you're going to the toilet loads, something is wrong. As gross as it is, paying attention to your poo is really important because you can tell how healthy you are. You everything you need. If you're getting a lot of colds, your rundown, your metabolism isn't great. Eat vitamins and things, like everything that happens is a message.
But the funny thing is like they teach you that with kids as well. They teach you like how many pooey nappies have they had, how many wet nappies have they had, and that's how they and like why aren't we telling that to ourselves? Like, how many times have I been to the toilet? And oh, I haven't been for a wee in about 6 hours. Yeah, that's probably not right. Or or
someone else, we can do it. If we're doing it for ourselves, we don't.
Yeah.
You almost get, I suppose, like, not that your parents stop parenting, but after a while, like, I think it's just not the things they probably think about bringing up in conversation of, unless you say, oh, you know what, actually I'm really struggling to go loo. Like in my family, like if someone says it, they're like, what have you been eating, blah blah, like then you have the conversation. But like you wouldn't probably think to ask these things, and then you just assume, okay, well that's normal. It's like even when my husband and I started living together, like I noticed like him going, like he would literally eat and go straight, like he's got IBS, but to him that's normal that he would eat and then go straight to the loo after, whereas I'm like, that's not normal, like that, I've never dealt with that, like that's probably not normal. Like you don't know any different because you've just done it the whole time without realising. Even the food thing, I guess, Lynette, as well, like I had I spoke to like a nutritionist years ago when I sort of first wanted to start looking after myself a bit better, and she actually told me off because she was a bit like, you work in the day but you don't eat enough in the day and you're eating too much in the evening, but you're burning more in the day. And she said, your husband, because of the kind of work that he does, he should be eating more in the evening. Like you don't need to. It's that habit of we've cooked dinner for both of us, therefore we're both going to eat together at the same time. So and he probably maybe not might be right for him, not necessarily right for me. And it's interesting, even like the timing thing. My aunties live together and it's the same situation. Like one of them will say, oh, I eat at this time because that's when your auntie gets home, but it's quite late for me. And I'm like, but no one said you have to eat together. And it's because it's like they're institutionalized with it. They're so used to doing it. I literally said to him, I was like, well, why don't you eat earlier and like just leave the food in like there for her when she's back then? And they're like, oh yeah, I think about it. It's like, because it's just not the norm. It's just the norm for them and they're used to it. And so maybe that's the thing, that maybe if you feel like eating a bit earlier, try it, and then they can eat when he can still sit with him and eat dinner. I get it. It's because you want to sit together as a family. I get it. Like it is what it is. Yeah, just watch him eat instead and ask him if he likes his food. Like just do that. Tonight.
Yeah. Put a bit of garlic in there tonight. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So I guess one last question, Bekka, because I'm conscious of time, then I forget we're not at work.
She's in a team meeting.
I'm in a team meeting. This is how I roll. What is, like, if someone has listened to this and they're like, okay, I know I need to do better with my food. I may not be able to do a nutritionist. I may not be able to do a personal trainer, for example. But like, what changes can I make? Just even as like a start off that will like help me, that will guide me better with food, help me with better eating, and help me tackle maybe things that like mentally with food and stuff I haven't really like dealt with as of yet.
So my thing has always been focus on having 5 fruit or veg. It's the simple things, like it's the simple
basics,
but we don't listen to. 5 fruit or veg, drinking plenty of water, making sure you've got protein, carb and fat in every meal that you have. And once you start with that, like obviously there's the others like going for a walk and exercising and things are all great, but in terms of food, just those things, it will make you feel better ticking them off each day, knowing you're doing that, knowing you're getting those vitamins from the different types of food. The more varieties of food you have, the better your body's going to be because you're getting this from your food.
That's really helpful. And it's literally back to basics, isn't it?
I think
back to basics, to start again, just reset on your whole food.
Exactly.
For definite. Do you know what? We'd love to have you back on again at some point to talk definitely more around like the I think the mindful eating, like eating disorders and things like that. I think that's a whole nother subject in itself that develop, like it's just a massive conversation for that one. But what you've provided today has been like super useful. I'm hoping people will pick up on stuff like this and actually listen and take something away from it. Like I know I definitely have. Lynette with her timing of food, I'm sure she has. But no, thank you so much for joining. Like if you've got any questions or comments you want to ask us, obviously feel free to, but like that, everything you've said has been like really, really useful. And I really hope it helps other people that have been listening to this as well.
Thank you for having me.
No, you're very welcome. We have to have you and Abby on, I think, next time as well. It only occurred to me today. I was like, shit, we should have asked Abby as well. Like, I didn't even think so. Apologies, please say, Abby, if you're listening, sorry, love. Like, we will definitely get you on next time. But like I said, if you haven't followed Bekka, please follow Bekka. We'll put all the account handles and stuff in the Spotify and our podcast. We're going to post on Instagram as well. Give Bekka a follow, Bekka and Abby. They've got really good podcasts and it touches on everything that we've spoken about today. And thank you for listening. Lynette, want to finish off with anything?
Listen to your body. Listen to our podcast and listen to your body.
Listen to all our podcasts.
Anybody. I listen to Bekka's podcast as well. Anybody.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Like, it's been really, like, it's been great having a chat with you and getting to like know you better as well through doing this as well. So it's been lovely.
Thank you.
We'll catch up with you soon. See you later. Thanks. Bye.
Mood. We're relatable as fuck.